I want to go over some best practices on the design side on using Canvas and using Project Matrix and then using the bill of materials. And and kind of show you how we use it and what, I guess how you'll be able to leverage it the most and getting the most success out of it and everything. So I'll just kind of go over a few things like that. Are there any specific questions or items that you guys want to make sure that I cover?
Well, yes, we've got a potential issue with, and Kelly, you can probably explain it better, about the project matrix three letter codes versus the 5-letter codes.
Okay, and we could talk about that.
Okay.
And so those are the MFG codes. And let me ask you guys this. Well, actually, first, let me bring my screen. Can you guys see my screen all right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, good. I want to make sure that it was clear enough. Let me ask you guys this. What you guys get a request to do a drawing, and then you guys are mainly using Canvas to do the drawing?
Yes. Well, new projects are Canvas. We've got a history of existing projects that are an AutoCAD with project matrix symbols.
Okay. So, but the majority, that's only when you go back to the existing, you're using AutoCAD, but anything new, you're pretty much doing it in Canvas?
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
Now, how far, if somebody just needs pricing, they don't need a drawing, are you guys doing that at all?
No.
Okay, got it.
For the most part, no.
Yeah, for the most part. If somebody just needs like a chair and a table, then either a customer service or the salesperson will do it?
So yeah, the salesperson will do it or I will do it, yeah.
Okay. Now, when you guys do the drawing, are you typically then taking that, prior to eManage, and you guys would do a drawing in Canvas, and were you guys bringing the items into the SIF into Project Matrix?
Yes.
Okay. And then you option it out, and you'll add labor, freight, whatever, ancillary items and all that stuff?
Yeah, well, we would just do the bill of materials in Project Spec and create that SIF file with the options, and then the sales would add the rest.
Okay. Now, are you guys also the ones that run it through links?
Yes. Well, no, we don't. Kelly does.
Okay. And is that...
We've got kind of different... A couple of us are more CAD design sales support, or, design sales support.
Gotcha.
And then others are strictly CAD.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So let me kind of give you a little bit of background understanding of eManage, so you guys, because I want you guys to understand the importance and why with eManage we do certain things. Is with the systems that you were using before, they were independent systems, so the systems didn't really talk to each other. And what eManage does is now you have a system that basically talks to each of those separate areas. And what I mean by that is, eManage is a business management system. And that means from the very beginning, when you guys have a lead or an opportunity and all this stuff, all that CRM, you hear about sales, and on that side of it, all that information gets put into eManage, and then it just kind of flows through. So, from a contact, you create a project, and then that project's it's an opportunity that you're trying to win. And so eManage will track that, and it helps the sales manager or the owner or whoever's, the leadership team to manage the forecasting of of the jobs or of opportunities. And then as the opportunities, then they turn into jobs, and you process an order, and then you get a deposit and order entry, purchase orders, and invoices and vendor invoices, and so on, all the way down to scheduling. Well, all that stuff is done inside of eManage. And so what that means is when you have all these processes and all these business functions being done in one system, then the system has to have policy. There's some standards that have to be inside of the system to maximize the efficiency and to really streamline things. And the whole idea, what eManage does for the business in a whole, not just individuals. The software is not designed for individual employees. It's designed for the business and everybody. So what that means is those standards, those disciplines will make the system efficient and throughout the entire business. And really it starts at probably the most important area where this starts is in this bill of materials. Because what happens in the bill of materials is when parts come in, those parts are being validated to the database. That's why there's a validate button when you import. But they're validated with the database, and all the accounting, everything for accounting is mapped and added at that time and verified. And so, because once all those items come in, things become one click. I got to click to process an order. I got to click to create a purchase order. I got to click to create an invoice. They just become a series of clicks and very simple. So there might be an area that you have to do something different or maybe more, but there's going to be 1,000 areas where you and other employees and entire business is not going to have to do anything anymore at all. So it's very important that the process and those disciplines are followed so everybody can benefit from it. And so I'll go over and I've been, like I said, I've been using this software for a long time. And I can tell you the success that we have in this is it's a huge competitive advantage to us. And all of this stuff affects my business to the bottom line, and it will affect you guys too. And it's going to make you guys just more, just a better company. And so I'll go through some of these disciplines and kind of show you what's happening in the background, just so you guys understand and know that what you are doing is making a huge difference for everybody else. But I'm also going to point out how you guys are going to have an efficiency that you haven't had, like going to links and clicking that refresh button, which is a nightmare. But and just kind of go through it. And as I go through this stuff, feel free to stop me and say, oh, how do I do this or how do I do that? But there's a ton of things in eManage that as you guys start using it, you're going to start to discover, and you're going to learn, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, it does this, it does that. There's, tons of this stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start with Canvas. So let's just go on. I'm going to open up Canvas here. And just so you know, I've been involved in the business for over 28 years, and I started at our installation service department, and then I've done operations, I've done design, I've done everything. So I'm very familiar with all this stuff. I'm just trying to find something that I had here. Where is it? These corners. What did I do with it? I just can't find things though. Show refresh. I had a little sample. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's here. I didn't rename it. I actually overrided a drawing that I had. So I'm going to go through a couple things inside of why I want to start with Canvas is I'm going to go through a couple things so you guys can see how it relates to eManage. And some of the stuff you guys probably know, or maybe not. But here's a little drawing that I did, and I have some product on here. And I'm actually was going to create a video on how you do a special using this little typical here. And I'll do that at the same time when we bring this into eManage, so you guys can see how to do a special, or what happens with the special. I'm also talking with Hayworth because there is an issue with specials, doing specials in Canvas that I think should be different. But what I'm going to do here real quick is I have this drawing, okay? And I actually want to do a couple tags. Do you guys do tagging often?
Yes, we use tag 2.
Okay, so I'm going to do tag 1 and tag 2, okay? Because tag 1 is going to, this will be something that will be important for sales and also design. So I got seating 1, and I'm going to do this. I'm just going to call this special. Oops, spell that right. Okay, so I created 3 tags here, and basically, workstation. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through and tag this guy right here. I have my tag 1. Then I'm going to go to my special, which is this guy, and then my seating, and I am just going to include this table with it. Okay, so I got all that, and then I also, if I wanted to do a tag 2, then I can just create a tag 2 here, and I'm just going to call seating, and then I'm actually going to create, oh, you know what? I shouldn't have done that. Tag 2. And under tag 2, I'm going to create a tag, and we'll just call this one seating. And I'm going to create another one and call this workstation. So I want my seating, so the tag 2 is going to be the packaging tags, correct? So
yeah.
I want the seating and everything to ship separately from the workstation. So I'm just going to go like that. Okay. And then I'm going to grab my seating, and I'm actually going to grab everything. And grab that. Okay, so I have my tag 1s and tag 2s. We also will do, if you go into, where is here, Canvas, this auto tag. So do you guys use this at all?
No.
Okay, so this auto tag is kind of nice. What it does is I'm setting the auto tag to tag 3. And basically what it does is I'm going to go into my pricing here. And are my tags showing up here? Yeah, so auto tags end up doing things like this: structure, lower storage, electrical, structure, tables, seating, structure, accessories. And what we've done is inside of eManage, you could run a bill of materials, and it's a design check form, and it will group it by these items: upper storage, work surfaces, and so on. And you can group it so you can do a design check pretty simply. So we use this tag 3 quite a bit. Okay, so I have all my items. And what I want to do is let me make this a special. So I'm going to right click and go to query, and I'm going to make this a special. Now I have actually, this is a real, oops, let me go to the one in my email, because I actually do have a real special with this, and it is T. Okay, so I got my special on this other page. Oh, I got it right here. I'm going to copy it. Let's go back to my canvas. And my special. So this is the special. And I'm actually going to change this to say special with spinnaker. So this is a conover chair, spinnaker, front legs, and straight arm. Okay? So I'm making this a special. Now, one of the things I'm talking with Hayworth about is this code changes to SPC, and it shouldn't. It should stay with whatever this chair is. But this isn't going to really matter. But I've requested that they change that, correct it. So anyways, I made that a special now, okay? And even if this was, if I wanted to draw something in here as a placeholder, say this was a chair and it wasn't a project matrix, it wasn't in Canvas or project matrix extension, then you can use an existing Hayworth product and make it a special. And you can note it, you could tag it as a special, you could tag 3, tag 4, tag 5, just so you know it's a different manufacturer. And then you can update it inside of eManage if you wanted to. Okay, so I have my drawing here and I created my different tags. Any questions before I move on from here?
No. What, in eManage, what's the purpose of, or I just don't know why you're doing tag 1 and tag 2 and naming them the same thing. But if you're going to get to that when you get to eManage, that's fine too.
Yeah, I'll show you when I get to eManage. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Oh shoot, there was something else I was going to show you while I was here, and I just lost it. Okay. So, the other thing is if it's not a Canvas extension, then you could go into Project Matrix and you use your catalog viewer, right? You guys are doing this now?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because then you can add any manufacturer. So here's one thing. In fact, let's go ahead and do this. Let me just go back here and why is it asking me to do that? Let me just go ahead and change this real quick. Okay, so let me add a KI here. I'll just grab this guy and grab some colors and accept. And let's just drop it. I'm going to try to drop it right inside of this. See if I can catch that tag. And let's do those tags real quick. Yep, okay. So I cut the tag. I just wanted to get it in the tag there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I think I have my pricing open here. And I'm going to export this. Now, this is going to be the first thing that you need to do, and you always do this, is this needs to be exported as a Hayworth links XML. Okay? So this is your number one policy now. From now on, you're always exporting as a links XML. Okay?
But that's just if you have all, well, no. Even if you have other manufacturers?
Yes. This is policy. You have to export.
Oh, yeah, we certainly didn't know that.
Yeah, you have to export this all doing the Hayworth links XML. Okay? So this is your number one, because here's what's going to happen is you're going to export everything in one file. So this is just one file going through. So I'm going to export this. It's going to my desktop called ASV samples, and I'm going to export. And I don't want to look at that. So now that's done, okay? So I exported it. So the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to go into eManage, and you're going to go to that project, open up the bill of materials, and you're going to click on import. And then you're going to import your XML. So it might have a different name for you. I don't know if it says Hayworth Canvas XML, but it's going to say XML, it's going to say OFDA XML, and I think it says Hayworth or Canvas or something, or C.
It says Canvas. I don't think it says Hayworth,
Yeah.
but it does say Canvas.
Yeah. So you can change this name if you wanted to, but you'll select that one and then browse for the file. And here's my file, and then validate. Oops, did I grab it? Okay. And then validate. Now, what happens when you validate, this is where eManage is kind of reconciling it with the database and making sure that those the accounting codes are all set in the background and all that good stuff. So this is a super, super, super important part of the process that it needs to go through. And I don't know why it's taking so long, but what did I do? Oh, I clicked on it before I attached the file. Maybe not. Let me do this again. Okay, let's grab Hayworth XML, my ASV sample. Why is it taking so long to grab that? I'm actually working from home right now, so I don't know why it's taking that long. What is wrong? What did I do? Let me look at something real quick. I obviously did something here, playing around. No, it has nothing to do with that. This is a really old project that I just searched for. It's a canceled one, but that shouldn't have anything to do with it. There's a problem with this coming in, this file. I'm going to grab another file real quick. I think I'm losing connection. This is a perfect way how to show how to use the system. Yeah, I've got a lot. Can you guys still see my screen?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a loss. Oh, look. There, okay. That was weird. I must be having connection issues. Okay, imported that file. I'm gonna try to grab this other file. Yeah, I'm having connection issues on my side. Connecting with my office. Yeah. So, well, here's what I imported, okay? And what it shows, and I'm going to delete these two because I'll explain that later. But what it shows here is this is tag 1 right here. So what it does is it groups them. Now, so if your salespeople want this to be tagged a certain way, this is how it brings it in. And if you notice this 01, 02, 03, 04, what I actually should have done is inside of this tag here, whoops, in these tags, I should have actually went to this and I should have put 01. And if I go over here and 02, and I grab this one and do 03, then it will put them in order. Okay. So let's see if I can get this to. Let's see if I can get this file in there. If this doesn't come in, this file, then I might be having a problem with that KI part. Yeah, I'm having a problem with this. Whoops. Did that click on and off?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was weird. Let me change this name. Okay. And try this file one last time, and if it doesn't go, then oh. Yeah.
Hey, Kelly?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have to ask some questions about all this tagging because, you know, I thought we were under the impression we could only use tag 2.
Yeah, so what happens, and you know what, I'm gonna grab another one here that has tag 4 on it. So let's go in here and I'll browse, and I have some samples, and this one has tag 4. And validate this. And this is a kind of a big file, but we'll bring this in. But what it does is it helps with doing the quote. And have you guys run the quote and see how the quote looks?
I have, yeah.
Okay, so when you present your quote to the customer, you want it to be in some organized fashion so they can,
right.
Yeah.
they can read it. So if you notice here, this is what it does. So I just imported it, and I have 01, private offices, 02, workstations, 03, and so on. Then down here's my contract services. Now, this contract services, just so you guys know, is down at the bottom here is this little tab called auto parts. So whoever's importing it in, we use auto parts, and this assigns all of delivery charge, labor, project management, all that stuff. That's what's
auto parts set up.
You guys have auto parts set up?
Yeah, it brings in like an install line, a CAD line, and a freight line.
Got it. Yeah. So I break it down a little further. So I have chair delivery, minimum chair delivery, desking table, labor, desking freight, KI, and so on. So I have all kinds of parts. But okay, so everything imported. This is Hayworth product, non-Hayworth product. This is walls, non-walls, everything. All just with one XML file, okay? So the first thing, I'm going to delete this one just to get it out of our hair here. So I'm going to rename this and say sample project. And then this is an internal note that I have. Testing. and this is only for internal people, so it doesn't show up on the quote. But then I go to my quotes, and it's asking if I want to delete any of the 0 items. I'm just going to leave it, say no. But now I have my quote here. And then you go to your web services and submit to Hayworth, and it doesn't matter if there's Hayworth product or non-Hayworth product, whatever, but you select your information here and the SPA, and then all you do is hit submit. Oops, submission type, pricing on. And then you hit submit. Now, what this does is this is doing your submission to links for you. So you don't have to go to links at all. Okay, it's done. So now right down here, there's a note and it says, quote, submission successful. And then what you can do is then you go back to your bill of materials, and if you need to do more work in here, then you can do more work. If you want, yeah, go ahead. Go for it.
What about when, like, because I links a lot of stuff, but when I get errors, I have to go into links, figure out what the error is, and then come back and fix it and redo it. Is that the best way to do that?
Yes, yes, and that's the way you have to do it. You can't go to links and fix it in links. So, and the reason for that is this is an automated process, and if you go to links and change it, then it breaks that connection of that automation because it doesn't know. Now it doesn't know what's happening, right? It's not communicating anymore. So, and when you're going to get an update this, gosh, I'm hoping today or tomorrow. I guess it's probably going to be more like tomorrow. If not, anticipate it being Monday. But you're going to get an update that is when you run it through links and you get an error, it's actually going to show the error on the line item inside of the materials.
Right.
So you can fix it right here. You can double click on it and fix it or do whatever. Good rule of thumb, good best practices is if it's an error and it's coming from Canvas and you need to show that correction on the drawing, then go back to Canvas, fix it, and then just import it again.
Right.
Okay. Now, you can always import into an existing option or even into an existing phase. So you can go, when you do an import, there are some options here that says import into an existing option and import to the existing phase. So if I want to import into the cubicles, then you could do that and then validate it, and it will bring it into whatever option or phase you have here. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have a question. So if we use tag 1 from Canvas,
Yep.
that's going to create our phases?
Correct.
We have it set up right now to where our tag 2 pulls our phases.
Oh, okay, and that's fine. And that's fine.
Okay.
You can do that as well because that's a setting in here. When you click on this, you can go to your edit, and this is where you make your settings. So phase tag 1 is tag 2 is basically what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You can, and that's totally fine. Yes, absolutely. What we do is we do it this way, and sometimes tag, you know, if I wanted to, I could go to this one-time setting and I can say, I could do tag 1 is tag 1 and tag 1. Or my packaging tag, I can say is tag 1.
Okay.
Okay, because tag 2 for Hayworth is packaging tag, right?
Right.
So what we'll do is when we're doing, as an example, we're doing a office building that has 3 floors. Tag 2 will be the floor, but tag 1 will be the location on that floor.
Okay.
You know,
How do we get to show up in our proposal to where when we print that out for the customer, it shows what tagging, you know, what areas which.
Oh, this
Right
was,
now,
okay, go ahead, sorry.
well, right now it's just, it doesn't print out what area they are.
Okay, so when I print this quote, and if I'm going to double click on this the first time, and you don't have to double click on this all the time, but I'm going to open this, and this is where it says show option names, and this says show phase names, and I can say show phase totals. And so there's a bunch of things here, options, and I'm going to put a title here, office furniture, and then I have I'm showing my cover, all this stuff. I'll put some terms of sale, and then I'm going to print this.
Is that something that you have to check per proposal,
No, you can.
or will it hold that information?
Yeah. So what you can do.
We have it set up to hold it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Down
good.
here, if you notice where it says basic in this little box, that was my basic template.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to change it, you can make as many templates as you want. So you could check as many of these and just rename this. And then this is a drop down. You can select which one you want to use. Okay. Okay, so then you're probably using the original quote. Now, I just created a brand new quote, and this should be coming out in the next update as well. But, so I'm going to click on it. I'm going to show you what it is. And when you create the quote, so you notice here, my links came back already. It says it failed. Okay. So we're sitting here doing all this work, and basically eManage is doing all that refreshing and all that stuff for you. So, okay, so you notice on the summary page, it broke it out based off of that phase. Okay? And then this is the option name. So if you have multiple options, then it will show another option and more phases. So now when I go down here, here's the option name, and there's the phase name. So private office 1 and 2, 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 and then it gets into workstations.
Okay, ours does not print like that.
Okay,
On we can hardly get it to show up where like the workstations, like it might show phase totals, but it hasn't been showing that.
I think there was, yeah.
Every page.
You know what? I think there's a problem right now.
Okay.
That update will include this new report.
Okay, awesome.
And the fix for that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and something that you're going to see too with the new report, you notice how this has private office 1 and 2, and then the total, and then this next phase is starting up right underneath it?
Yeah.
Well, right here, there's this little filter. And if you click on that, it says page break. So right now it says page break false, but if I say page break true, then what's going to happen is it's actually going to separate that out and put it onto the next page. So when I go down here,
We need to do that.
yeah, you'll get this update. So you see how now there's a subtotal and it's not here and it starts on the next page. And then total, subtotal, and then it starts on the next page. Okay. So you'll see this report come out in the next update.
Okay, we scroll to the top.
Yeah, to the very top.
Almost to the start of the product. Okay, so you've got your summary page, and then you have this page.
Yep.
With that doesn't, it just has parts. It doesn't have like all attributes and all that. Is that?
These are walls. These are.
Oh, okay. Those are
yeah.
walls. Never mind. All right.
Yeah, you don't want to show all the walls. In fact, here's what I would do for walls. If I go back to this project, now I go back to the bill of materials, this private office 1 and 2, these are all the walls, right? If you wanted to, you can I can double click on this and it's going to open up a phase description. Are you guys doing any of this?
Yes.
Okay, so
And make just one line, really.
yeah, so I could say Hayworth enclosed walls, and then what I can do is I can go to the website and go to Hayworth, and let's go to product, and where's my architectural movable walls? And I can grab movable walls, and I can grab, I don't know, this text, copy it, and paste it in here. And then I can go back, and if I like this picture, I can copy that and go back here and, oh, I didn't grab it. Let me grab it. So let me grab this guy, copy, and paste it, and then apply. And then if I go across over here, there's a phase quantity, and I'm going to put 1 and each. Now when I go back to my quotes, I'm just going to highlight this. I'm not going to double click, and I'm clicking print. I might choose my quote and continue. And now there's that whole phase rolled up into just one line item.
Hey, Kelly,
Yes, ma'am.
do we want all the pictures of the individual workstation items like that come from?
Right now, we don't have it set up. That was going to be one of my questions. And I'm kind of saving
that
some of my
something we
questions
want?
for when Stephanie's here, so I don't hog this whole hour.
No, you know what? If you want to show those parts,
Yeah.
it's going to be right here under Tools, and then go to User Configurations, and everybody will have to do this. But under User Configurations, you have Personal Settings, and it's right here. Show pictures in the BOM items.
Okay. I think we do want that, Laura, unless told
We
specifically
would,
not
but I didn't know
to do it.
I think
that we didn't.
I think it looks great to have all that. I love it.
I know there's a little YouTube tutorial on your
Yep.
website about that.
Yeah, and if you don't see it in the bill of materials, so if it's down here and you don't see it down here, what you need to do is you need to select them, select as many as you want, and then you right click and you read the pictures in from Project Matrix.
Okay.
And what that does is a little window pops up and it will add the picture.
Yes.
And this is for Hayworth and non-Hayworth product. Anything that is in Project Spec, Project Matrix, it will add the part.
Okay,
The picture.
awesome.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, and then once you add the picture to this part, then it's part of the database. So you won't have to do that again.
Okay.
So, as time goes on, these pictures will always be there like it is for me.
Right.
Okay?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Say for some reason you want to change a picture, like for that very test chair, you want to import a picture that has all the finishes on it. Is there a way to override that?
Yeah. Right click and paste right here from
How about
clipboard,
you doing that?
or add and modify.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know if, since they came in automatically, if you could override it like that.
Okay. I was going to say, I think you're the only one who's been putting pictures on your line.
Yeah. I'll show you. Here's a quote that we just did. Queens. Modules. So you notice what I'm doing, right? Watch as I go through the system, watch what I did is I went to my recent and I want to open this project. I'm right clicking and this is a shortcut menu. I'm going directly to my bill of materials. So there's things all over eManage that make it easy. So look at this project. Look how many options I have here. They keep asking for different.
so many options?
Oh, because they want to look. This is the standard Vizient contract. This is the NSA. This is an SPA. This is blah. You know, and these are chairs. This is lounge. It's ridiculous. These guys are just a nightmare right now. But
Okay.
so what we do is we have here planes, stationary table, stationary table, crank height. You know, so we have these different options here. And if I click on this Conover, there is no picture for this. So I actually just right click and added a picture. And this is a special. So I optioned this out in Canvas and then brought it in. And I ran it through the links, and it ran through links and everything. So when I go to look at my quote here, and I'll show you this quote because this is actually a nice quote. And look at all the different quotes. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you another best practice and good policy. Anytime you guys are revising a quote, always create a new one. Okay? And as an example, let's say this right here, this project, and they wanted to change, you know, under the let's see let me go to workstations. Is that where I have my seating? Okay. Say these varies, instead of 8, they only want, you know, 4 and 4. Okay. What you want to do is create a whole new option. Copy. And I'm copying it and I'm pasting. So now I'm creating a whole new option. And that will paste here in a second. And then I'm going to make the new option, come on. I'm going to change the name and call this option 2. As soon as it pastes. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to call this one option 2. Okay? And then when I go to my quote, now this is something really, really important that you guys should do as well. Everybody in the company should do this. Now I have option 2 and I have the first option. You see these check boxes? Valid, most likely. Uncheck what's valid and what's not valid and what's not most likely. Okay? Now, the purpose of this is your current opportunities, which is right here. This is a list of all your potential projects, your sales. This will update the forecasting for the salesperson and also the business. Because otherwise, if you leave these as both most likely, it's going to double this dollar amount. And it's going to overstate the worth of this project. Okay?
Stefan, are you going to go over that again during the sales?
Yes, I will. I am definitely going to go over that again because this is a very important part of the process, and it's an automated. Now, I'm going to give you another scenario here. If this was, say this sample project was chairs, and this sample project number 2 was a table, and they want a quote for both of them, then they might both be valid because they're both valid quotes, but they're probably not going to get this, but they're most likely going to get this one. Or you just check them both and it will double the dollar amount, but they wanted 2 separate quote numbers. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, maybe they want to quote for a table and maybe they want to quote for the chairs separate. And so they're both valid and they're both most likely. If they wanted a quote for Very chairs and a quote for Zodi chairs, and they're going to buy one or the other, they're both valid, but only one of them is most likely. Okay? Okay. Okay, so, but you always want to create a separate option. And if you notice here, I have this little green filter up here. It's green. Well, what I do is I separate out what's current and not current, and I saved my layout. So when I check this off to make it not current, it crosses it off, and when I refresh it, it hides.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Now, if I want to see all my quotes, I go back here and I do all, and it will show everything. Okay. But also when I do this and I make it not current, when I go to my quotes, it's not showing here too. So you don't get confused. You know, they don't quote the wrong one, right? They don't sell the wrong one.
Right.
But so there's little things like that built into the system. Okay, so let me get back to where we were over here. So on this quote, I'm going to go ahead and print this one, and I'll show you how this quote shows up. So this is for a customer, and we have catalog. Oh, I clicked on the wrong quote. Oops, I printed the wrong one. Catalog items. Is that? I thought that was the one that I wanted. Did I not? Is that not the right one? Okay, yeah, this isn't the right one. Oh, this is such a beautiful quote. Which quote is it? Oh, Hayworth's product. Duh. Okay, sorry. Clicking on the wrong one. Hayworth's product is the one I wanted to print. Okay, so now you'll see.
After this, will you go over alternatives like that little pop-up window?
Gina
Sure.
all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, just kidding then.
So here's what I did. I have the plain stationary table. I have the description, a picture, and then here's the actual item. And then here's the subtotal. The next page is the planes crank adjustable. And then I have the next page, which is the hop adjustable. And the next page is the Zodi. And the next page is the Vary. And then there's that. And then there's the grand total. Okay? Okay, so.
Hey, Kelly,
Mhm.
I'm sorry. I know we're running out of time on our end, but do you have any questions about the problems we're having with the different manufacturer codes not being able to do the orders and things? 'Cause
Okay.
I don't really quite understand all of that. I didn't know if you
Okay.
needed to ask that while we still have Stefan.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick because it all comes.
Real quick, will you send me that pretty quote?
Yeah, totally. Sure.
Yeah, I think our main problem is going to be when we have these old projects that everything is in CAD, we can't use that link. The links, we can't export a links XML. We can only export a project spec. I mean, not a SIF file. A SIF file, sorry.
Okay, the SIF file will work. It generally will work. Coming out of Canvas, there's problems with it coming out of Canvas. So definitely every time you use Canvas, do XML. Now, if you have these old files and you run it, so you're basically opening it in Project Specifier, correct? And then from Project Spec, you're exporting that and then you're bringing it into eManage. Now, hold on a second. I've got my Alexa in the background talking to me. I must be saying something. It's telling me about I don't know why it's talking to me right now, but anyways, what happens, here's where the problem is with codes. When you do an import, this is where eManage is validating those codes, okay? If you're in project spec, the problems that we'll have is if people manually created those codes. As an example, if you're in project spec and you add something that's not from the catalog, like you add a couch from, I don't know, Beaufort or Burn.
I don't think that's our problem. We're doing SIF files from Project Matrix with Project Matrix catalog codes, and then we're exporting to an XML from Project Spec, and then we bring that XML into our bill of materials and eManage. But then somewhere in there is our problem. Am I right, Kelly?
No, not really.
Okay, well, you explain. All I know is I'm exporting from Project Spec.
Right. I think the problem is when we go to order it through web services, if it's got the 3-letter code, it won't go through. It has to have the 5-letter code. And I think our question really is if we SIF it out through, if we run a SIF, are we going to get a 5-digit code?
Yes. So
Okay.
here's what happens. And I'll kind of show you the background. Under Tools and Configure, there's this vendor ref configuration.
Right.
Okay.
I've been working there. So.
Yeah. So the vendor refs are basically in Project Spec. These are all the vendor ref codes of all the manufacturers that are in there.
Right.
And so if you were going to say do some, I don't know, HBF, you click on HBF and you need to assign some default features, right? The product category.
Those up.
Yep. And then you save it. So once you create this vendor ref, eManage will assign all those codes. So for Hayworth items, as an example, eManage takes and combines the vendor ref, well, not the vendor ref code, but it will take the manufacturer's code, which under here, there's also configure MFG codes.
Right.
And it will take the MFG code and it will combine it with the class code.
Okay.
Okay?
So if it's set up right there, then it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then it doesn't matter at all. Because and the reason why we do this, or why we have to do this, is because Hayworth not only has that MFG code, but they have a separate class code that is tied to their SPAs and their pricing. And that's really it's the combination of the 5 that determines their pricing.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how I do it. So if there is a problem, then more than likely it's a setting. Because if it has the vendor ref code, so the vendor ref code is going to be HAW, right? So if it has HAW, then it's going to know that it needs to assign all that other stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. And it will do it for you. So you shouldn't have a problem. The only problems that you guys will come across is if it was manually entered into Project Spec.
Right.
So,
I think that probably was what was going on.
Yeah. And real quick, just to kind of finish off on a couple things is, have you guys assigned freight parts to your manufacturers that charge you freight?
Right now we have one freight line and it has a note on there to change the vendor. Okay,
so here's one of the things that you'll want to do. And I've gone in and done this for everybody. Do you guys do any AIS?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to identify all of the vendors that charge you freight. and you're going to search for their record and open up their record. And this is a real important process, because this is going to save you guys time, but it's also going to save you guys money, because I'm sure there's mistakes that happen. But when you open the record, right down here, this little bottom half is vendor charges me freight. You check that box, and then you check this box that says set vendor to me, and then you search for that freight part. And then you can say, I want it to show up in my auto part phase name, if you have a separate phase name. And then you can fill out this information down here. Is there a minimum charge? With AIS, it's $7,500 is their freight ceiling. And that's $7,500 list. And it's 13% of the cost is what they charge. So what happens now is, if I needed to say, this was AIS or any ancillary, I'm going to create a new phase, and I'm going to make this 05 and ancillary items. And I'm going to go in here and I'm going to search for AIS. And what I've done is I've created a MISC part for every manufacturer that's not part of.
I've set a lot of those up.
Yeah. So, and they're all the same. They all say MISC dash whatever. So if I just typed MISC dash, they're all in here. I even have COM dash, and they're all my COM manufacturers are in here. Okay. So let me just show you. I'm going to show you two things here. And okay, so where's my AIS? So I grab AIS and I add this item. Okay. And then I have the quantity of one, and let's change this to, I don't know, $3,500. And I'm getting a 50/10/5 tab, and it figures out my percentage. Okay.
Okay, Stephen, I'm going to interrupt you.
Yep.
I think we're getting more into the stuff the salespeople will be doing.
Oh, okay, got it.
They're all calling me, freaking out because they can't get on the call.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
I think we're going to kick off Laura and Gina.
Okay, will do. I'll just show you real quick. Here's that land freight it added.
Yes.
So it's all in there. And it automatically adds, it adds it, and then it automatically calculates it out for you.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So cool. Oh, you're very welcome.
And then I'm going to call you back with our salespeople. So I'm going to get off here too. And then you'll have a whole bunch of new people joining.
Got it.
Will you send me that quote so I can copy it your way?
Sure. Sure. And so I'm going to pause our recording right now. Or wait, you know what? I wonder if I can stop.